Welcome to the Liberace Mansion.
Welcome to Under the Vegas Sun, looking at the people, the events, and the news surrounding Las Vegas and the entire Vegas Valley. Hello, I'm Steve Schorr. We are live from the Liberace Mansion. The name Liberace conjures up so many different things. Mr. Showmanship, the glamour, the glitz of the man and what he was, and the talent that he helped find. Today on our program, we'll look at Liberace, his life, and even meet a man who is a protege of Liberace. It's all happening on today's program. You'll get details when we come back. Stay with us.
Hello, this is Keith Evans at the Lion Habitat Ranch. We'd like you to come out and visit our ranch. There's 38 lions, a giraffe that paints, ostriches, emus, and birds. We do school tours, general admission, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and behind-the-scenes tours every day of the week. Besides coming in as general admission, you can also pay extra to help our animals, and you can feed the giraffe. You can feed one of the lions, or you can have Ozzy paint a custom canvas for you. You can also buy Ozzy paintings in the gift shop. While we do our demonstrations at 12 and 2 of Ozzy painting, all those canvases are available for purchase. In addition to everything you can do here in person, you can find us on the website, lionhabitatranch.org, where you can make your reservations online or buy your paintings online. Thank you very much. Please come.
Hey, it's Mark Chinook from Monday's Dark, and you are watching Under the Vegas Sun with Steve Schorr.
One of the great things about Las Vegas are the events that take place in this town. Amazing events. Events like the Concert of Love and Power of Love. So many different concerts and events that take place in Las Vegas. One of the more unique events that does take place surrounds the man whose home we now stand in. It is the Liberace Fan Club annual event, and we're very proud to be able to be here for that event. The great thing about the event is you get an opportunity to learn more about the amazing man who this was his house. Our very special guest on the program today is an individual who knew that man. He was a protege of that man. Our very special honored guest, Jere. Welcome to our program again.
Thank you, Steve.
It's been a while since you've been on the program.
It's good to see you.
Do you know, this whole idea of memorializing Liberace, his fan club has done that so amazingly well. But a lot of people in the audience, a lot of people that have heard the name Liberace, don't really know the man himself. You had the opportunity at a very young age to know the man, to become part of the amazing individual that he was as his protege. Was he what you thought he was?
He was what I thought he was and more. I mean, all of my life, from my childhood, I'd focused on that, and he was a mentor. When I was finally able to meet him, it was the most unbelievably inspiring experience. First of all, that I was able to get to him. But that was by my own planning, but the things worked out. And once I met him, he was an incredibly witty, amusingly sarcastic, clever. A lot of people didn't understand him because his wit and sarcasm was so sharp.
There was this persona of Lee on stage, Mr. Showman, the Mr. Glitz and Glamour, whatever you want to call it. In his own personal life, although he did like the glitz and glamour, i.e. where we're standing right now, and his love of mirrors, but was he a different man that you remember?
Wow, yeah. He had a very down-to-earth side. The glitz and glamour was for the public, and he loved beautiful things and sparkly things and all of that. Hence his costume and the dancing waters and the pianos and all that. A lot of that was with the staging, though. But in his personal life, he liked cooking. He liked being at home. He was a Taurus, and Tauruses are homebodies.
I'm a Taurus.
Are you?
Yes.
So am I.
No.
Yes.
So it is that homebody.
When is your birthday?
In April.
Okay.
End of April. 26th.
Okay.
So you're probably
May 4th.
May, right? So
and Lee was May 16th.
Right.
Yeah. But he loved to be at home. He loved entertaining in his home. He loved having people around. He loved, like, especially at Christmas, everything was gifts and
Christmas was his
He decorated
time.
everything.
For the audience, and I want you to understand, Lee was this amazing man. I had a great opportunity to meet him a number of times. I had dinner at his house. But Christmas was Lee's holiday.
Yeah, it was. It was, oh, he looked forward to it. He couldn't wait for October and then we get the decorations out. He would start them out before Thanksgiving and things. When he decorated, I always said he decorated everything down to the blades of grass in the yard. Because there was everything and gold and goo and green and bows and things and everything. And he loved to throw parties and the cooking and everything. He was all part of it, yeah.
He was all part of giving to people.
Yeah, I did.
And part of his persona was to be able to give to people,
Yeah.
was be able to share.
Yeah.
So you became a protege for a bit.
Yeah.
Happenstance was you're planning. He heard you at his wonderful Tivoli Gardens restaurant.
Right.
You were 22, 23
I
years
was
old?
26.
26 years old.
Yeah. I'd only been in California away from my parents' home in Indianapolis
For 4 years.
4 years.
22, you moved to
That's
Palm
right.
Springs, right?
That's right. No, I moved to Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And and you set it up. You figured it out, didn't you?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I call it creative visualization. You know, I saw how to get to him, and I made this plan and that plan and put myself in the position, and it all fell into place. And things like that, it can happen in any aspect of life. You can. I still do it. Still do it.
Lee, in his own way, as a child, was a prodigy. He was an amazing prodigy as a child. You, as a young person, as an artist, as a musician, you don't even read music, do you?
No, I don't.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I truly don't know. I
Really?
started when I was very young. I could sit down at the piano and play. Something Lee and I had in common, though, we both like attention. He liked attention. And when he was in public, he would, people come up and ask for autographs, and he never hesitated. Never hesitated. Now, for instance, in the performing, I like people. Some people don't, but you like to be noticed and acknowledged for your achievements and so forth. But
Being a protege of Lee's, what did that give you? You were already a talented artist, musician. How did you move from here to here because of Lee?
Well, just being associated with his name, even to this day when I'm covered by press, they say Liberace Discovery Jere Ring was performing at, or Liberace Discovery Jere Ring was seen at, and then photographs. They always put that caption. It still lives on. His legacy lives on. And it something like that is very empowering. It's very valuable, and I like the aspect of it that it gives me the ability to do for others and promote others.
Being with him as you were, learning from him, you had an opportunity to see him in action.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I didn't care about the movie that was done about his life was that it didn't show to me the side of Lee that I knew there was.
No, it didn't. I agree with you. It focused more on the undercurrents and the things that people, actually the dark side of people crave. They want to know those things. But Lee had a spectacular life, and his performances and what he did for people, and the pleasure and enjoyment that he brought people. He was a very complicated man.
So what's your most interesting, fascinating story of Lee?
Oh,
that you can tell on TV.
Oh my God! Oh, I've got one.
Okay.
It was at Tivoli Gardens. I was performing. Joan Rivers, Faye McCabe, Wayne Newton, Debbie Reynolds were all there. It was a huge night. It was a weekend night, and I played until 4 in the morning, and Liberace was there, and it was very festive. Well, we decided to shut everything down, and he wanted to let the people go. So all of us started out. He called for a limousine. He had a limousine with the piano keys down the side, so they were going to get. So we had a couple snifters of brandy. So we all got outside, and there was a bar at the far end of the Liberace Plaza. And these people were coming out, and they'd said, "Oh my God, that's Liberace!"
At 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and they started sprinting across the parking lot. Well, the driver got out, and they started. It was like a slapstick comedy. We were all trying to jam in the back of the car at once to get away from these people that were pursuing us. And Lee said, "Oh no, they just want an autograph. Well, hold on, come on out." Well, he stood in back of the car, and they brought up things, and he stood, and "How are you?" And he signed autographs in the back of the limousine in the middle of the parking lot. And he did that. That's why I said he liked attention. We'd go shopping, go to fashion. What's your fashion
show?
Fashion show here, and he would blatantly walk through the middle of the because he knew people found pleasure in seeing him.
He enjoyed the accolades that he received.
Yeah.
Do you feel, I mean, you were around him, do you feel it was because as a child he didn't get those accolades?
I don't know about that. I think he had somewhat of his childhood was, well, the Liberace family, there was a shift in marriages and all that stuff, but they were not rich people. They were ethnic people. They lived in West Allis, Wisconsin, and he rose from that. Lee liked beautiful things, and he wanted to get them, and his talent provided that. I think also his talent, he enjoyed performing, and what happened was, all this money started showing up, which happens. You pursue your craft and your career and hone your ability to perform, and it's funny how that happens.
It's funny how that happens, but that had an impact upon you.
Yes.
That had a huge impact upon you and upon other proteges that he had garnered over a period of time. And we'll take a break for a couple seconds. When we come back, I want to talk about this part of how you became this international star, how he helped that happen, and what led you to take that next step, and that included even writing a book. So we're going to talk about that in a couple of seconds.
Good.
It's amazing what you can learn from those who were around this amazing man. We'll have more in just a couple of seconds. Stay with us.
Here at Go Global Realty, we value the relationships with our customers. I'm Michael Ring, I'm the co-owner of Go Global Realty. Wherever you are in the world, you can give us a call at Go Global Realty, and we'll be able to assist you in purchasing real estate in the United States. You can purchase it for an investment property or for personal use.
您好，我是稳盈地产的 Ronnie Chen， 希望在房地产的部分，我们有机会为您服务。
Здравствуйте, я Адриана с Go Global Realty.
大家好，我是稳盈地产的 Amy 公司，是一个专精为海外人士。
Give us a call at Go Global Realty. We speak over 12 languages and look forward to helping you in your real estate needs.
Hi, I'm Eamon Springall of Stitched at the Cosmopolitan, and you're watching Under the Vegas Sun with Steve Schorr.
26 years old, goes to a place called Tivoli Gardens, plays the piano, and becomes a protege of Liberace. His name, Jere. We'll come back to our program.
Thank you.
Just before we took the break, we talked about this man and the things and how it impacted people. You were going to add to that.
Well, as you probably know, when people get around celebrities, they feel empowered. Like, I used to love to walk through the casinos when I was here with Joan Rivers, and I would always stay behind her. I didn't try to walk beside her, but she would be in front of me, and I loved to watch the reaction of people sitting at the tables, and they would look up and they'd punch their partner and say, look. They did the same thing with Liberace. It was always so much fun to be with him, because even people who didn't, they would recognize him and they knew he was somebody. I was on a plane with him one time, and he was sitting on one side of the aisle and I was on the other, and this woman came on and she looked at him and she just started shaking. And she said, Frank Sinatra. She said it knew somebody famous, but she
didn't know who.
She said, oh my gosh, I should have known. Liberace, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was hysterical.
At the height of his career, he was the highest paid entertainer
That's right.
in the world. Not just in America, but in the world. That allowed him to do certain things. But my sense of Lee was that it didn't change the man that he was.
No, it didn't. But like I said before, he was very complicated, but his life just, he was the same man, but he was in glitzy surroundings, and he was surrounded. The other thing that Lee did, he didn't find it necessary. He had certain friends in the industry, like Las Vegas friends, but he did not pursue ultimately very powerful mega stars, and he was very content staying in his own element, his
own world.
Yes, exactly.
So he would have private parties in the Moroccan room, which we have shown the audience before upstairs,
right,
of his house. Those parties were for the people that he cared about.
Right.
Those parties were from the entertainers, and the close knit people that he felt trusted with.
Right.
Correct?
Right. Exactly.
What were they like?
They were the people that he had around him weren't grabbing onto him. You know, they weren't necessarily. He could tell if people were trying to ride on his coattails. There were a lot of. Do you remember Breck Wall?
Oh yes.
Yeah, Breck was very funny with Lee. Phyllis Diller.
Did great shows in Las Vegas.
Yes, he did.
Great shows.
Breck was a good friend.
Phyllis Diller was hilarious.
Yeah, and Phyllis Diller.
And I think Phyllis was funnier off the stage than she was on the stage.
Oh my.
Yes.
I have some stories about Phyllis. I can't tell on television. I'll tell them later. But he had these certain stars with whom he felt comfortable. And at the same time, there was nobody to compete. I fell into a problem with it when I was appearing at Tivoli Gardens, when people started really showing up and packing the room and focused on me. But you remember Fred Favorite and Bob DeVoy, you know, they were the managers. And when I was at the Tivoli Gardens, and they decided it was time for me to close at the Tivoli Gardens because, you know, the popularity sense. But I closed in October. I was at the Tivoli Gardens, and all the newspapers and press really covered me a lot. But when I started to tell you earlier that Vince Cardell came up to me, and he was with Lee for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah. And he said, because of the label and the power that he was associated with Liberace, he said, your short stint with Liberace, he said, you're very fortunate because you touched his robes. And he said, and always live that, always remember that and hold on to it.
So from that, you became this amazing star on your own. You have literally traveled the entire world. You specialize in cruise ships. You do a lot of cruise ships.
Sure do.
You do a lot of cruise ships.
Yeah.
And how did that? I mean, when you are on a cruise ship, you do a lot of shtick from Liberace.
Oh yeah,
a lot.
Oh yes, I sure do.
I know you do. Has it become Jerry Ring?
Yeah.
Or has Jerry Ring still become his own?
I do my own individual thing. People say, play some of Liberace's stuff. Well, I add a little flair to it, but it's like, you know, it's the same thing with Michael Feinstein. They say, play something Michael Feinstein, and I told him that, and he says, well, no, tell him that I play plenty of yours, but, you know, I am my own individual performer, because I have that wit and that sense, and I touch people in the audience, and I figure out what's going on, but people are most intrigued to this day with the Liberace legacy and my association with it, and they want to know about it.
From that, you wrote a book, which I happen to love.
Thank you.
If the Shoe Fits, Buy Two.
That's right.
And it is as much a a learning process book, as it
like
is. As it is, I mean, the pictures are amazing of Liberace. There's a lot of, but it's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Did that come from your experiences with Lee, or come from you?
A little bit of both. I think I was in there, but Lee pulled it out. Because when you have celebrity and when you have, I did a lot of the writing also because there are a lot of stories that I wanted to share.
Amazing stories.
It was cathartic for me because I could tell the stories, you know, and then it was fun to write, especially the stuff about Lee, just fascinating people. But Lee was that opened that door, that powerful door that led me, and still leads me.
When Lee died at the young age of 67 years old, he was young at 67 years old.
Yeah.
Very, very young.
Yeah.
There became a void, and I honestly believe there became a time when music stalled.
Yeah.
Do you see music still stalled today? Do you see music coming back?
Well, I do. I see people like Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga. And,
I love Gaga.
Oh, yeah. And
I love Gaga.
Michael Feinstein, who's the foremost in the American songbook in the country, and he keeps
Michael Bublé.
Bublé, yeah. Even Willie Nelson and Rod Stewart, people are singing the old the American songbook.
Exactly.
And it's almost like a cafe society. You know, cafe society parties in New York that are small and a little flat and never just the only select people there, but it's becoming recognized and acknowledged, and it's something that will never go away.
But that's woven in your book.
Yeah.
If you read the stories, it's woven in your book. And there's a lot of your book that says, you know what, life's tough, but don't give up.
That's right.
That's a lot of what you're saying.
Yeah. You know, something else that it fascinates me about the Liberace legacy is this event for which I'm in Las Vegas now. A lot of these people are too young to have ever met him. I mean, what a powerful image. I correspond with a 16-year-old chap in Australia as a player, fascinated with Liberace, and he's fascinated with my association. And a lot of these people, I mean,
there's a new audience.
An enigma.
There's a new audience out there for the search of music. I think people like Gaga help doing that and pushing that forward when she says she's the resurrection of Liberace.
Yeah.
I mean, that gives people another reason to look at what Liberace stood for.
Yeah, and Liberace was bigger than the music.
Right.
He was this huge force. I encountered a woman in Redondo Beach, not a woman, a young girl walking along the beach, and she had a charm bracelet with little pianos and things. And I said, "Excuse me, what is that?" She said, "It's a Liberace bracelet." I said, "Are you kidding?" She said, "How old are you?" And she said, "I'm 17 years old." I said, "Oh my gosh." She's a huge fan of Liberace. Wore his bracelet. Who knew? I mean, that's a power that goes beyond.
If you look back, Jere, at your life, at the things that you've done in your life, at your experience with Lee, what's the most profound part of it?
I think I was talking with my friend Donna today at breakfast about this. I told her that I'm very pleased and proud of what I've become because I've been exposed to a lot. I've gone through a lot. Some things not so good, some things not so great, but a lot of things fabulous. It's at this point, I've found my footing.
I would be remiss if we only sat here at the Liberace bar, which was his bar.
That's right.
I would be remiss if we didn't get you to go to the piano. So here's what I'm going to ask. I want you to stay for a second show today. We'll tape it today. We'll show it next week. But I want you to be at the piano to be able to share with the audience this amazing individual that you've become and helped to become because of the man who is being honored in this building tonight.
All right.
So if you can do that?
I can do that.
Okay.
And I have a favorite song I'll share with you.
Good. It is an experience. And I think knowing and being able to share that experience is part of it all. We'll be back with some closing words in just a few seconds.
Hello, this is Keith Evans at the Lion Habitat Ranch. We'd like you to come out and visit our ranch. There's 38 lions, a giraffe that paints, ostriches, emus, and birds. We do school tours, general admission, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and behind-the-scenes tours every day of the week. Besides coming in as general admission, you can also pay extra to help our animals, and you can feed the giraffe. You can feed one of the lions, or you can have Ozzy paint a custom canvas for you. You can also buy Ozzy paintings in the gift shop. While we do our demonstrations at 12 and 2 of Ozzy painting, all those canvases are available for purchase. In addition to everything you can do here in person, you can find us on the website, lionhabitatranch.org, where you can make your reservations online or buy your paintings online. Thank you very much. Please come.
News. In today's world, news has become even more important in our lives. Hello, I'm Steve Schorr. For some 40 years, Las Vegas has been my home, and it's been good to me. Now, I want to give back. That's why I started the Now Report, the independent voice newspaper, fair, balanced, unbiased, online and mobile, and it's free. The time has come for an independent voice because news is important. The amazing Jere. If you have a chance to see Jere perform, you ought to do it. He is just tremendous. As is, of course, our good friend Liberace and the things that he brought to this town and all of music. That's really what this program is all about, the different things that happen in Las Vegas involving the entertainers, involving how this town has grown. And speaking of growing, it's amazing to say that soon it'll all happen for the Las Vegas Raiders football team. Yes, indeed, that construction of that amazing $1.5 billion stadium will begin, and it will go on so the team is ready by 2020. That's the next phase of Las Vegas. Until the next time, be safe and enjoy life under the Vegas sun. Hello, I'm Steve Schorr. I've been proud to host the TV show Under the Vegas Sun. We've had mayors and entertainers and some of the true movers and shakers of Las Vegas. Well, we're growing again. We'll now be seen in 209 cities in America through our network, Walk TV, as well as in 6 foreign countries. And in Las Vegas, we'll also be seen 4 times each week on Cox Communications, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m., and now Sundays at 7 p.m. on channels 1096 and 96. I just wanted to say thank you.
This has been a presentation of VATV.